Hello everyone and welcome back to a new series. In this series I'm going to be showing you how to make a Battlegrounds game in Roblox. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to make a simple combat system where you can punch other players and you will also be able to block attacks. And also this series will be finished in the next couple of weeks. Before this video starts, if you guys want to support me and want to have access to all of my project files, including the one you're watching right now, they will all be available on my Patreon in the $10 tier. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to publish our game. So we're going to go to the home tab over here and go to game settings and press save to Roblox, and now we'll call our game Battlegrounds tutorial, and I'm going to press save. You can name it anything you want, and now it will reload the game. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to go to the game settings again and set our game to R6. So we're going to go to the avatar tab and set the avatar type to R6. Now press save and press yes, and now our game is switched to R6. The next thing we need to do is make some animations. So you're gonna go to the avatar tab, go to rig builder and press block avatar and make sure that it's R6. And now it will load a rig, and this is the rig that we're gonna be animating. So open up the animation editor, and by the way, I'm not an animator, so I got some animations from elsewhere, and I'm going to show you how to make your animations, just how to set them up, but you will have to make your own animations, or you can find some in the toolbox. Okay, so you're gonna go and make sure that whenever you make an animation, let's say we need to start with a block animation. So the block animation will be something like this. Your hands will be up, and I won't make a new block animation because I already have one, and this is just like for testing purposes right now, just to show you how it's done. And you just make sure to press loop in here, and make sure to go to these three buttons over here and go to set animation priority and press action. Now you can go to the three dots again, publish to Roblox, and you can call it whatever you want. You're gonna call it, let's say we want to call this block. Now make sure to check delete local instances. This is not this is optional, but I would recommend checking it. And now when you press save, you will see that it gives us an ID. We can copy this ID and save it. So press this button over here and it will copy that ID. And now you want to open up your notepad or save this wherever you want. I'm going to save it in a script. I'm going to create a new script, and I'm just going to make it all commented like this. And we can have our IDs in here. So we're going to call it block ID and just do that. Okay. So now you can make your other animations. We're going to create a punch animation. So go to new, create new, and the punch animation should not be looped. So make sure it's not looped, but the animation priority should be set to action. So the punch animation, let's say this is our punch animation. As I said, I'm not going to make one right now because I already have one made. Okay, so then you just go here and press publish to Roblox. Now, I would recommend that you make a right punch animation, left punch animation, then another one. You can have as many as you want. Those will be played consecutively after each click. So you can have as many as you want. Or an easier way to do the animations, well, basically you're not going to be making them, but you can just go to the toolbox and look up combat animations. And then you can just drag in any one of these. Just put them here, and then when you go to the animation editor now, and you click on the model, it will open up this, and press OK. And now you can see that we have all of these animation clips. Now you can go here on these three dots and go to load, and now you can choose any of these. You can go to, well, let's just say idle. Let's just I want this idle animation. You go to these three dots, publish to Roblox. Just make sure that animation priority is set to action, and publish to Roblox. And you just make sure to save your ID, but make sure that you publish your own animations. Okay, so I already have my animations, as I said. Okay, so now we need to set up our game. We need to go to replicated storage, add a folder, and we're going to call it events. Now in this events folder, we're going to have three events. We're going to add a remote event, and this one will be called block. Duplicate it, and this one will be called click attack. And now we will have another one, but this one is going to be a remote function, not a remote event. Make sure that it's a remote function. And we're going to call it special attack. This one will be used later in the next part, but I'll show you what it's going to be used for. And now the next thing we need to do is go to server script service, and we're gonna have a script. We're gonna call this script data handler, and we're gonna add another script, and this time it's going to be called server attack handler. Server attack handler. Add a module script, and this one is going to be called attack hitboxes. Okay, so now we're gonna go to starter character scripts, and we're gonna add a folder. Now this folder is going to be called character attacks, and the next one, add another folder, and this one is going to be called default attacks. Now we will go and add a local script to this. Now we're gonna call this script click attacks. Now we'll close all of these scripts by right clicking on one and pressing close all scripts. And now you will get a model that I made. I published it. You will have to get it from the link in the description, and you will go to the toolbox and drag it. Now I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so after clicking the link in the description, it should take you to this, and you should just press get. I don't know what it's gonna say. It's probably gonna be get, and then you will get this item and go back to Studio. And now in Studio, we'll go to Home, Toolbox, and go to Inventory, and then just drag in your model. Now I need to wait for this to load and press Battlegrounds Game UI and press OK. And now we'll get this main GUI and put it in the starter GUI. And this is how it looks. I'm going to play it to show you what it is. It's just this simple UI with a toolbar and a characters tab where you can select characters. And now we're going to stop the game and move on to the next step. So we're gonna go here, enter the data handler script, and we're gonna need to get the player service. So local players equals game get service players. And now we need to do players.player added connect function, and that will take the player. And what we need to do is create a folder inside of here, inside of this script, and we'll call it I think it should be called player values. And we're gonna have a folder inside of it, and it's going to be called values. And we're gonna have a string value inside of it, and it's going to be called character. And we will choose hunter. Okay, so now what we need to do is loop through that folder. So we're gonna do for underscore comma v in script dot player values get children do, and we're gonna do v clone dot parent equals player. Now if you play the game, we should have a values folder in our player, and as you can see we have values and character. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to enter the client attacks. Now in here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna need to get some services. So local user input service equals game get service user input service. Now we need replicated storage equals game get service replicated storage. And now local run service equals game get service run service. Okay, now we need to get the events folder that we have in replicated storage in here. So we're gonna reference it by doing local events equals replicated storage wait for child event. We are using wait for child because we are in the client. And now we need to get the character. So local character, the character should be equal to script.parent.parent, because if we play the game, these scripts are going to be inside our character. So the character is going to be script.parent.parent. And now we need to do user input service .input began connect function, and that's going to take the input and the game processed event. Now we need to do user input service .input ended connect function, and we're going to do input game processed event. And now we're going to go back here, and we're going to have a variable that we're going to use later called isBlocking, and that is going to be set to false. Now we'll go back here in the input began function, and we're going to do if game processed event then return. Now this will anything that's going to be written in here will run every time the any sort of input is done. And the game processed event will pretty much stop us from, so these 3 lines of code will pretty much stop us from calling this when we are typing something in the chat or something like that. Okay, so what we need to do is do if input dot user input type equals enum dot user input type dot mouse button 1, then, and we're gonna do events dot click attack colon fire server, and we're gonna send the character dot humanoid root part dot cframe. Okay, so now we're gonna do in here and not is blocking. So if we are not blocking, then we're gonna call this. Actually, now that I think about it, we don't really need to send the character's cframe. Just do colon fire server, and now go down here and do if input dot keycode equals enum dot keycode dot f, then just do is blocking equals true, and events dot block colon fire server, and we're gonna send true. Okay, now do the exact same thing here. We're gonna do just copy this, and this time it's going to be false, and in here we're also going to send false. Okay, so we also need this game processed event thing in here. Okay, so enter click server attack handler, and what we need to do in this script is we're gonna have a folder, a couple of folders actually, not just one. The first one is going to be called animations, and the second one is going to be called characters, and the third one is going to be called punch animation cycle. And the next thing we need to do is go inside of the characters, and we're gonna have a temporary character called the hunter. Okay, so in this hunter folder, we're gonna have a module script, and we're gonna call it 1. I'll just leave it like this. We're not gonna touch it yet. You can just go to server attack handler. And now what I need you to do is go to the animations folder and add an animation and call it block. Now you're gonna set the animation ID to your block animation ID. Now I'm going to go get my block animation ID. It's this. And now you're gonna go to the punch animation cycle and add animations, and the first one is going to be the first punch that you want the player to be able to throw. Now I'm going to call it 1. Make sure that they're named like this: 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. Okay, so this is going to be 1, and I'm going to set its ID to the one that I have, to a right punch that I have. And then I'm going to make another one. It's going to be 2, and it's going to be set to my left punch. And now you can just keep on setting them, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy them from another place because I already have them made, and I'm just going to paste them here. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to go to the player values in here, and inside of this folder we're going to add an int value, and we're going to call it punch combo, or maybe punch combo. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to our server attack handler, and we're gonna get replicated storage. So local replicated storage equals game, colon get service replicated storage. Now we need to get local players equals game, colon get service players. Now we're gonna do local events equals replicated storage dot events. Now local attack hitboxes equals require script dot parent dot attack hitboxes. And now we need to do local click debounces, click attack debounces, and we're gonna set it to an empty table. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do events dot click attack dot on server events colon connect function, and this is going to take the player, and whenever the click attack is called from the client, this is going to run in the server. And what we need to do is a couple of checks. I'm going to copy them from my other place and paste them here. This is what you need to do. We're gonna get the character, then we're gonna check if the character is nothing, then we're just going to stop everything, so return. This here will not run if this runs, if return runs. And then we're gonna get the humanoid. If the humanoid is not there, then we return again, and if the health is less or equal to 0, then we return. And if there is a player in the debounces table, then we will return. So just copy all of these and you type that in your game. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is do click attack debounces square brackets player, and we're gonna set that to true. Now we need to choose we need to actually get the punch combo value. Punch combo equals player dot values dot punch combo. And now we need to do we need to get the animation that we want to load. So local animation equals script dot punch cycle animations square brackets do string, and we're gonna do punch combo dot value. Now we need to load it. So local loaded punch animation is going to be humanoid dot animator on load animation, and that will take the animation that we just got. Now we're gonna do loaded punch animation colon play, and in here, down here, what we need to do is check if the combo's value is greater than how many animations we have. So if punch combo dot value is greater or equal to however many punch animations we have in this folder, and the way we get that is by doing hashtag script dot punch animation cycle colon get children, and that will this will return how many children are in this folder. And then we're gonna do then, and we're gonna do punch combo equals 1, and we're gonna do else, and we're gonna do actually sorry, I need to do punch combo dot value equals 1, and else punch combo dot value plus equals 1. Now we're gonna go down here and do attack hitboxes. Actually no, we're not gonna do that yet. Just do task dot wait. Actually no, don't do that. Just do okay, I'm gonna do task dot wait loaded animation dot length plus 0.1, and then we're gonna check if the player is still in the debounce table. So if click attack debounces player, then click attack debounces square brackets player equals nil. So we just remove him from that table. Okay, so now we need to make sure that this works, but it's not going to work yet. It's not going to deal any damage, but we're just going to play the game to see if it plays the animation itself. Okay, so I am getting an error, and that is because punch combo is not set to 1 by default. It should always be set to 1. And now if you play the game, I think it should work. Okay, so now as you can see, we have animations and they play when we click. And now we need to make it so that when there is a player nearby, we damage them. So in order to do that, we need to enter our attack hitboxes script. And let me just enter it from my other place where I already prepared it. And we need to have a function. So function module dot create hitbox. And that create hitbox function will take the character of the player character and the hitbox size, which is going to be a vector 3, the damage, and whether that attack is blockable or not. So what we're gonna do now is inside of this function, we need to create a new part, which is going to be our hitbox. So local hitbox equals instance dot new part. Now we're gonna do hitbox dot transparency equals let's just do 0.5 for now. Hitbox dot brick color equals brick color dot red, and now we're gonna do hitbox dot can collide equals false. Hitbox dot anchored equals true. And we're gonna do hitbox dot size equals hitbox size, and now we're gonna do hitbox dot cframe equals character dot humanoid root part dot cframe, and we're gonna multiply that by cframe dot new, and we're gonna do 0, 0, minus. Let's just do -4, and now I'm going to do hitbox dot parent equals workspace. Now what we're going to do is get what parts are inside of this hitbox. So local parts in hitbox equals workspace colon get parts in part, and you just type in your hitbox. So just do hitbox, and this will return what parts are currently touching that hitbox. And then we're going to have a debounces table, just like we did on the other script. And this time we're going to do for underscore comma v in parts in hitbox do. Actually, I need to do, oh, never mind, do. And what we need to do is get the humanoid. So local humanoid equals script equals v dot parent colon find first child humanoid, or v dot parent colon find first child humanoid. Okay. Now what we need to do is check if humanoid and humanoid.parent is not equal to the character. So if the humanoid that we are trying to damage it and is in the hitbox is not the actual player who punched, then we're gonna do and not debounces square brackets humanoid. So if the humanoid is not in that debounce table, then and what we need to do is debounces humanoid equals true, and if blockable, then and if it's blockable, then we're gonna check if not humanoid.parent, so the character, colon find first child blocking, then we're gonna do humanoid.health equals humanoid.health. Actually, we need to do math.max. Then we're gonna do 0, comma, and we're gonna do humanoid.health minus damage. Now, if you're wondering what math.max is, so you give it any amount of numbers. Let's say we give it 3, 5, and 6. It will return 6. It will return the biggest number. So the reason why we are doing this is just in case this is less than 0, then the health will be set to 0. Okay, so else, then you just copy this line of code over here that I just explained and paste it there. Okay, now we need to do task.delay. We're going to do 0.3 function, and we're going to do a hitbox colon destroy. Okay, now we need to create that hitbox. So I need to call this function. So what I'm going to do is in here, I'm going to do attack hitboxes dot create hitbox, and that will take the character and the size of the hitbox. So vector3.new. I'm going to set it to 9, 9, 5, and then I will send the damage that we want it to deal. So I want it to deal 25 or 10. And is it blockable? Yes. Okay, so now if you play the game, I think it should work. Hopefully. And as you can see, when we punch, it does create the hitbox. And as you can see, there is a little delay, but that's not really a big problem. But yeah, what we're gonna do now is let's say you want this to only happen when you are when the player reaches a certain keyframe in the animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load the animation that I have. So I'm going to do a block avatar, and I will load it. Animation editor. Why can't I open it? Oh, okay. Okay, so you need to go to the animation editor and go to these 3 dots over here, import from Roblox, and then you just choose a specific one. So I'm going to choose hit 1, and every time we reach here, what I want to do is right click on here and add animation event here. So you just need to select this, right click and add animation event, and then you name it hit. It will give you a place where to add an event, but I've already created mine, so I'm just going to save. I'm just going to press cancel because I already have mine, but you need to press save and then go here again and publish to Roblox. And this time we're going to go and overwrite an existing asset and hit 1. And then you just press save. Okay, now that that's done, we're going to go back to our attack handler script. So what we need to do here is before we create the hitbox, what we're going to do is loaded punch animation dot and just do, no, not dot, sorry, it's colon get marker reach signal and just type in hit, colon connect function, and then you just do this. Okay, so we're gonna play the game now and see if this works. And as you can see now, the hitbox only creates itself when we reach that specific keyframe. Okay, so now I'm going to test this on a rig. I'm going to put one here, one here, one here, and I'm going to play the game and see if this works. Okay, so it is now loaded. I'm going to click and the hitbox does show up, okay? And I'm going to press this, and as you can see, it deals damage to the character. Now I'm going to make the hitbox invisible because we don't really need it. And I'm going to go here. Where is it? Where is it? Attack hitboxes, okay. Transparency is going to be 1. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do blocking really quickly. So I'm going to go to the server attack handler, And what we need to do now is go and do events. Oh, sorry. Events.block on server event connect function, and that will take the player and the value, so true or false. Now you will just have to copy that from the top script here and paste it in there. And now you need to check if not value then. So if that value is equal to false, then we just get every single loaded animation from the humanoid. So you just do local loaded animations equals humanoid.animator gets plain animation tracks. Now we loop through those animations and we check if the name equals block. So for underscore v in loaded animations, if v.name equals block, then we just stop that animation and we do if character find first child block in. Then a character find first child block and destroy, and we'll see why that is, because we're gonna add an else, and we're gonna load a block animation. Now the block animation is the one that we have over here in the animations folder. So we load that one and then we play it. So block animation play, and then we'll create a string value. So local block in equals instance.new string value. We're gonna set its name to block in, and then we're gonna set its parent to the character. Now, if you play the game, we're gonna wait for this to load, of course, again, and it takes way too long. And as you can see, when we hold down F, we are able to block, and if we go to our character, we have a blocking thing in a blocking value in our character, and we can, of course, punch. And let's just make sure that this works. And as you can see, it does deal damage, and it's actually pretty cool. I really like it. And what I'm going to do now is actually, no, I'm not going to do anything. I think that's going to be it for today's tutorial. If this helped, make sure to subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.